number one in opponent turnover percentage, number one in deflections, number one in steals, and yes, they have the number one defensive rating in the NBA. That's been OKC's defense this year. On a night in, night out basis, they're constantly putting pressure on the ball handler, forcing them to the many turnovers that I mentioned earlier. They're number one in opponents' forced turnover percentage, and they're also protecting the rim at a very high level. Might I add, this is without their best defender and their best rim protector in Chet Holmgren, who's only played 10 games this season. And even Isaiah Hartenstein wasn't here in the beginning of the season. So there was a 5-game stretch that they had to play without a center, and J-Dub had to play the center position. And somehow, some way, they still held up defensively. Against the recent Dallas Mavericks, they held Luka Doncic to 5 for 15 shooting, and he only had 16 points. A lot of that had to do with Lu Dort's physicality, with that size and strength. He gives Luka Doncic a lot of problems at getting to his spots, and with OKC constantly sending 2 on the ball as well whenever it's a pick and roll, Luka really couldn't get comfortable out there. And a lot of that has to do, thankfully, to the coach, and also because of the endless amount of perimeter defenders they have in their disposal. And not only just POA defenders, they have rangy defenders that can do many different things on defense well, that makes them this good defensively. And offensively, thanks to shaigilgeousalexander mainly, after the start that they weren't too good. I mean, they were pretty average, but now they're top 5 in offense. And actually, they're the only team so far in the NBA that are top 5 in offense. They're top 5 in defense, and they currently have the number 1 net rating. But before we get more into it, make sure you guys like, subscribe, hit that post notification bell, and let's get right into why that defense is so suffocating. Honestly, I don't believe their defensive principles are that complicated on a night in to night out basis, but what makes them that great is their personnel. They have so many defenders that are 6'4" to 6'6" or even 6'7" that can do so many different things defensively so well. They can play the point of attack on many guard defenders and make their life hell. A lot of great screen navigators, going from Alex Caruso, and adding him to this team has really helped this defense, especially getting rid of Josh Giddey. I mean, is Josh Giddey going to make a play like this that Alex Caruso did, where Derek Lively is rolling to the basket? And Alex Caruso not only times where he's supposed to be, he also jumps up with verticality beautifully. So it's not going to be a foul, and easily stops the 7-foot Derek Lively shot. Defensively, they've so many plays where that's happening, also with J-Dub, who's really improved defensively, I would say, this season. And a lot of that had to do, I think, with the added muscle that he added in the offseason. And he also got to play a bit of the 5. Like I said earlier in this video, Isaiah Hartenstein and Chet Holmgren were out, so they had to put somebody at the 5 position, and thankfully J-Dub had to play that position, and they didn't fall off defensively that much. They were still very good defensively. And I gotta give a lot of credit to shaigilgeousalexander for improving his defense year in and year out. He's almost averaging about 2 steals a game and a block a game. And no, I don't think he's going to get all defensive honors, but defensively, especially in the passing lane and playing off the nail and help, he's really helped this team. And being the superstar on this team, him being as good as he is defensively, really forces other players to step their games up. Because if this superstar, who's going to be largely carrying us on offense, and he's able to still defend the way he is, what gives me the right to slack off on that defensive end? And you got to give a lot of credit to shaigilgeousalexander, because this statistic that I'm about to bring up really blew my mind, that Alex Hoop brought up on Twitter. If you look at some of the best 2-man lineups in the NBA with a minimum of 300 minutes played together, so far the number 1 duo is Sengun and Thompson with a 17.6 net rating. But when you look at the rest of the list, there's SGA and Isaiah Joe, there's SGA and Dort, there's SGA and Cason Wallace, and there's SGA and J-Dub. I think you get the picture. SGA and pretty much any other guard that you compare alongside him doesn't really matter, because he's still going to lead them to a high plus net rating just because of the value he brings as a player. I know Nikola Jokic and Giannis Antetokounmpo are the 2 guys that are currently leading the race, I think a lot of people would say, but I don't think that should ignore what Shaigilgeousalexander is doing this season. I mean, for the third straight year, SGA is again averaging 30 points. And if you look at his statistics, it's kind of crazy how SGA has become this good. Offensively, he's been pretty much the same player he was the past season, still that smooth operator at getting to the rim. He's still getting to the free throw line 8 trips a game, and he's also hitting that mid-range shot at a very high clip. The 3 ball, he'll still occasionally hit, not at the highest rate, but he'll still shoot it to show and put pressure on the defenses. But one thing that SGA is really making me excited about is his IQ at reading defenses and plays in a game. Shai tells Alex Caruso not to set the screen because he knows he's just going to get doubled off the screen. So guess what Shai does? He tells Isaiah Joe just to ghost it. Don't even set a real screen. Just go act like you were and just go to the other wing and you're going to be open. And that's exactly what happens. Isaiah Joe's wide open and knocks down the 3. I know it might seem like a normal play. It's nothing too crazy, nothing to hype up Shai about. I know that's probably what somebody's typing in the comments. But the point of me showing that clip is to show you the progressiveness he's made as a playmaker. I'm not sure Shai 3 or 4 years ago would have made that decision if he was getting this level of defensive attention. As a superstar, as you keep getting better and improving your game, eventually defenses are going to start throwing you hectic defensive schemes just to throw you off your game. You're going to have to be able to read that defense like a chessboard and find a certain angle and chess move to find a wide open man. You're not going to always have to be the one to score it. And Shai recognizes that, and that's why he made that pass to Isaiah Joe. That's certain plays, those plays that are going to happen once more in the playoffs. Shai's going to need to be able to do that. And he showed me during that Dallas Mavericks game when he absolutely was the best player on that floor, once more like he was in the past playoff series. That play right there showed me Shai does have what it takes to read NBA defenses, and there's a plethora of other plays that he showed me he can do it, but that play specifically showed me he saw the defense, he saw exactly what was going to happen, and he told Isaiah Joe what exactly he needed to do, and it came out to be exactly what needed to be done. A wide open 3-point shot and creating quality looks. People always underrate the term gravity, but it really does matter when we're talking about superstars because it makes it a lot easier at picking certain defensive schemes when a certain player has to get a certain amount of defensive attention, because you don't want that guy scoring 50 points a night against your defense. You want a way to slow him down, and these certain aggressive defensive schemes people are going to throw at Shai, sending 2 on the ball or just loading up on the defensive end, like how they did on that play where he's just sitting there waiting for the screen to double him off that pick and roll and hard hedge. Those are things that are going to happen. But this OKC team is loaded with talent. And once more, Chet Holmgren has only played 10 games this season. This team is not only deep, they have a lot of talent on the offensive end that I don't think has fully been realized with Chet, because we're going to see when Chet's back on the team, and we're going to see the certain lineups they can play with that once more. But defensively, they've already shown me enough that they're going to be a hell of a defense to try to break through, because they just have every single defensive piece you would want in this modern NBA. And I am so excited to know how far this OKC team can go in this Western Conference. Beating Dallas Mavericks this game doesn't guarantee they'll beat them in a playoff series, which is why it's interesting to go see what's going to happen in the playoffs. But that's all from me. Make sure you guys like the video, subscribe, hit that post notification bell, and comment down below what you guys think of this OKC team, specifically their defense or offense, or if you guys just want to talk about a certain player. Do all that in the comment section below. And with that being said, your boy Dream Hoops is out. Make sure you guys tune in these 2 videos.